All right. Hey, everybody. This is Chase Bowers here with Shopified App. And today we are going to, you can see this is titled The Ultimate Guide to Dropshipping with AliExpress. It could also be titled How to Set Up an Automated Dropshipping Business. I think both of the titles are appropriate. We have tons of information to cover, so I'm going to do my best just to go through this. There's not a lot of fluff. I'm not a fluff type of guy. I'm very direct. I respect your time, and I'm super excited that you're here. Before we get started and get into all this, I do want to emphasize that just for your frame of mind, your mindset when you're tackling this, you probably have heard a lot of hype around dropshipping, and probably for good reason. There are definitely pros and cons to dropshipping. But the biggest thing that you need to know about dropshipping is that if you're going to venture into this, that you need to treat it as a business, because I'm guilty of this as well. We jump around a lot from thing to thing to help, because we all have, if you're here watching this, you probably have aspirations of having the ultimate, online marketing, online business lifestyle. And we get bombarded all the time with different offers and different things to buy. So it's hard. We tend just to jump around, and when we do that, we really do a disservice to ourselves. There's tons of opportunity out there online. You can do drop shipping. There's other things that you can do as well. But I really challenge you, if this is something that you want to do, to really treat it like a business. And the advantages of what we have with drop shipping are that there's really not any other type of business as far as selling products that you can get started with as little money investment. It definitely requires some money investment. So, but there's really no. If you wanted to go start a retail store, you'd be spending a lot of money to get everything set up. There's leases. There's all these complications. The pro and con of dropshipping is that it's super easy to get started, and because of that, because it's super easy, the con is that we tend to treat it as we just don't give it, or some of us may not give it enough effort, or may not give it enough attention, and then if we don't succeed at the beginning, then we may just give up really easily. So I really challenge you to treat this as a business. If you get serious about this and you say, I want to do this, then definitely be all in with learning the business. Treat it as really the best way to succeed at anything that you do is to really go all in at it, as far as just learning every aspect that you can about it. Find mentors, find training, and just dive in and give it your all. Be very focused, very laser focused about what you're doing for a period of time until you master it. All right, so that's my speech, my pep talk there, and I think it's very important. So let's just go ahead and dive in. I'm going to quickly go through the outline here. We're going to cover kind of what dropshipping is, AliExpress, advantages of using AliExpress for your dropshipping business. There are some cons to that as well, and it's like with anything, there's no perfect system out there. There's definitely pros and cons to all of this. And also we're going to talk about maximizing your competitive advantage as a reseller, setting up your store, selecting your niche and products, which is huge. I'm going to give you a list of criteria for choosing a product, adding products to your store, how to do that, and we'll have detailed examples. So how to use AliExpress to dropship, and using Shopified App to automate everything. So it's crazy. Before apps like Shopified App, you had to do all of this manually. So now we've even made it easier, which is, again, is a pro and a con, but it's definitely great if you're serious about this. So dealing with refunds and returns, which is very important. Growing your dropshipping business and actually start dropshipping. So that's the outline. So let's go ahead and dive into the introduction. All right, so this section, we are actually going to understand what drop shipping is. If you're brand new to this business, I'm hoping this whole training is just going to give you a very good overview of what dropshipping is, how it works, how do you make money, how are you able just to put products on your store and just resell them without holding any inventory. That's kind of the big pro to dropshipping. So let's go ahead and dive in here. All right, so dropshipping is an easy way to begin your e-commerce business without keeping the products you sell in stock. And that's what I was just referring. You actually don't have to have a warehouse. You're not going to be with drop shipping in particular, you're not bulk ordering from China or bulk ordering from anywhere really. So that's a pro. That's definitely a pro. So basically, it's a retail fulfillment method that allows you to sell products and then order it from different suppliers and let them ship it directly to your customer. So what that means, literally, you can take a picture of a product that you can from like AliExpress. So we're going to talk about AliExpress, but you can do it with other sites as well. You can take a picture of that product, put it on your store without ever holding inventory, sell it to somebody. And this is the basic premise of all of this. Sell it to a customer. They pay you the money. It could be released within a couple of days, but you have the money that's coming your way. You take, then you can take that money and buy the product on AliExpress, and we'll walk through this, how this works, but the premise is somebody's literally looking at a picture of something you don't even hold in stock, and since you don't have it in stock, you need to find a way to get it to the customer, so you can go to AliExpress, and you can literally just place the order, just like you're buying it for yourself, and you can choose the quantity, the color, but when you get to the address area where you want to ship the product, you literally just put in the customer's information, add a note to the seller and say, please don't include any pricing or any other information, other advertisement or promotional materials, so they'll know not to, stuff it with all that stuff, and then they will send it directly to your customer. So that's how you do it without holding any inventory, and that's the beauty of it. That's definitely the biggest pro there is. The con is that the products are shipping from China. So that's definitely something that is a con because, we are dealing with the Amazon generation or Amazon world now where you can get things within 2 days. But the cool thing is this model works. People are doing really, really well with this. People are crushing it. And if you do it the right way, then there's a chance that you can do and be successful at this as well. All right, and so that's the beauty of dropshipping. Let's go ahead into the next slide. AliExpress, and the reason we'll be using AliExpress as an example because it's a super easy way to get started. AliExpress has tons of advantages. There are some disadvantages or cons as well that I want to let you know about. But it's a convenient marketplace where you can use this method of dropshipping. This is where you will find the products. So this is basically like a huge Amazon, but it's all Chinese manufacturers. So think of going to Amazon, but every product you saw was from a Chinese manufacturer, and you were able to pretty much buy it close to wholesale prices. And you're able to buy it one item at a time. Where there's also a site you may have heard of called Alibaba. Alibaba and AliExpress are kind of sister sites. They're with the same company. Alibaba is Chinese manufacturers as well, except they sell in bulk. So you can find products here that you can sell without worrying about handling inventory and shipping. So just like we talked about earlier. The cons, again, are there can be, depending on which language you speak, you are dealing with Chinese manufacturers, and there may be a language gap. Sometimes you can find a good vendor, and when you're looking for different vendors and products, I definitely recommend, especially if this is going to be a flagship product, that you reach out to the vendor, that you start a conversation with the vendor and see how responsive they are, see if they can understand and just have a basic conversation. And remember, AliExpress, just because you have a bad experience with one vendor doesn't mean that every vendor on AliExpress is bad or that AliExpress is just bad in general. again, AliExpress is a marketplace of thousands, probably hundreds or thousands of vendors. So it's like with anything, it's the vendor that makes your business successful or not. It's the person that is on the side where you're communicating with that vendor that's going to really give you a good or bad experience. So that can be kind of a tough area sometimes to find a good vendor. But just once you find a good one, a lot of times they can even bring in other products for you or find other products that they don't even have listed on their own store. And we'll talk about that once we get over into AliExpress. All right. So advantages of using AliExpress for your dropshipping business. I'm just going to go through these really quick because we have so much to cover. You can start using AliExpress for free to test their products without any financial commitment or upfront fee. Basically, you can register an account for free. When somebody pays you, like we talked about before, then you don't have to buy it in bulk. You can just go buy it one at a time and ship it directly to your customer after they've paid you. Most of the sellers at AliExpress are overseas manufacturers. That's why they sell their products at a competitive rate. AliExpress suppliers are aware that a lot of their customers are resellers who are more interested in drop shipping. So they know that a lot of their products or a lot of their customers are they're people like us, entrepreneurs who are actually reselling their products. They do provide photos, and there's a con to some of their photos as well. I'll give you just a heads up on that as well. There's also descriptions of the products that you can use. Most products have photos and descriptions. So, the con with some of the photos are that some of them are have like watermarks on them, varying degree of some of them really get in the way basically, and some of them are just on the edges and they're easy to crop out. A lot of times if you order a single product from them, especially if you know it's a product that you really want to carry and push on your store, you can just buy a product and typically they're happy to send you images that aren't filled with watermarks. Not all photos are, but just be aware that you will run into that. You definitely don't want those types of images on your store. All right, again, like we talked about, you can directly purchase the product at AliExpress and input your customer shipping details after an order comes into your store. That's key. That's what drop shipping is, basically. All right, maximizing your competitive advantage as a reseller. So come up with a good marketing strategy on how to reach customers first before others do. And I put it general like this because I want this to be timeless training. Right now, the hot thing to do, the hot thing to use as of this recording is Facebook ads. But we all know that, well, things change. A few years ago, several years ago, Facebook ads weren't used as much for things like this. It was mostly Google AdWords. So right now the hot thing is Facebook ads, but whatever it is, you need to be aware of what is really working right now and master those tools. So really the hot thing now is to use Facebook ads to drive traffic to either your product page or a category page, and basically you're paying for your traffic, and you want to make sure that whatever you spend on traffic, you're leaving margin to make a profit, because there is cost. You can't just put up your store and expect people to come. You have to either spend time on SEO, which is a long term and is not something that you can always depend on, or you need to master some type of paid traffic. And that's what I typically recommend because it's more reliable. So spend money to send traffic via Facebook ads, and that's something, again, just to give you a heads up, that's something that you need to invest time in learning. The cool thing about Facebook ads, if you want to get into online marketing, Facebook ads and paid traffic in general can apply to several other things. You could literally go into this, try e-commerce, learn Facebook ads and master it, and you can make money other ways as well. You can become a consultant for small businesses. You can run traffic to other products or other things that you're offering. So it's a skill that's very universal. So definitely right now, as of when I record this, Facebook ads is something good to master. definitely spend time doing that. So that's a huge recommendation. So use the principle of retail arbitrage with caution, to avoid getting into legal trouble. In other words, we are selling other people's products. You want to make sure that you're not breaking any trademark laws. That's huge. Um, or you're stepping on anybody's toes. Like some people may want to source from Etsy. We don't really have an automated way to handle fulfilling orders. But like with Etsy, it's people that are, a lot of times they're hand making products. If you go and like take their stuff without asking them and you're putting it on their site and they find out, it's very personal for them because they want to represent their brand. So make sure before you do anything, especially if it's handmade or it's trademarked, make sure you have permission or licensing to do that. The cool thing about AliExpress, though, many things are kind of generic, so you don't necessarily have to worry about all of those trademark issues. All right, so build a brand, create content, provide outstanding customer service to add more value to your consumers. So this is kind of a long-term play. You have the short-term play, which is you don't worry about branding at all. You name your store cheapproducts.com, and you just send traffic, and that's fine. Ultimately, you may want to think in a long-term perspective. If you can build a brand and create that emotional impact, or you can connect with a group or a segment of consumers and reach them and attract them, or just create some type of brand that people feel compelled to follow, then it can make your business more long-term. So that's something you definitely want to think about up front, from the way you name your store to the domain you pick to the logo you pick. You want to create a professional brand and something that can impact people. So just think, and you can, when you're doing this, I'm not going to spend tons of time on this because we have so much to cover, but just think about the brands that are out there and what they stand for and what type of people they attract. There's very few Amazons that are just, everything to everybody. With a store like this, you may want to, even if you have more of a general store, you may want to focus on a broad topic or a broad niche, even if it was like outdoors. That's something that's at least that you can build a brand around, or it could be anything. There's, dogs or pets. There's gaming. There's, science fiction, movies, health and beauty. There's just so many different areas that you can go. So you really want to find that place. And don't get if you get too specific, you kind of limit yourself to what products you pick. So maybe when you're starting out, you want to make it a little more broad, and then you can kind of dive into that broad topic. All right, so selecting your niche and products. So you need to decide on your niche where brand doesn't matter. So you can start with the product categories at AliExpress. So this is a good way to look. You can even look at Amazon, but you think about the interesting products that you'd feel the most comfortable selling. Electronic accessories or clothing could be a good example, but again, these are very, very broad. If you just have clothing, you got to think, if I just have a shirt and it's generic, who am I going to target on Facebook with? The advantage of Facebook and running ads is that you can target specific groups of people there. So if you're going to pick products that are generic, then you don't really have a good strategy to send traffic to your site to reach people with that ad. If you just send it to everybody in the whole world and they see a purple shirt, then that's not going to speak to them, and most likely you're going to be blowing and wasting tons and tons of money. But on the other hand, what if I'm very passionate about football and I see a shirt that has my favorite team on it, maybe in a different way or a different saying? Again, being careful with the issues of trademark, but this is just an example. If I'm passionate about football or passionate about sports and I see my favorite team, then I'm much more likely to click through and buy that. If I'm passionate about dogs or I'm passionate about a cause, then that's something I can rally around and that I can actually target people with. As a store owner, you can target people who are passionate about those things. So definitely, like electronic accessories, it's still kind of generic. So those are fine. It's like categories and things to think about, but you always need to be thinking about an angle for your products and for your ads. If I have a ring, some type of ring, how can I present my ad? How can I present my product in an angle or position my product to where it appeals to the customer I'm trying to target? Maybe I can put some type of saying or statement along with the product, or maybe a color represents, like a blue represents policeman, or red represents fireman, or pink represents cancer, or just anything like that. Where are those emotional connections and those rallying points and those causes where people can connect with whatever you're presenting? All right, so choose products that you want to resell in your store. So we've already kind of talked about this. So develop a list of criteria for choosing a product to help you select reliable suppliers as well. So here's a list of criteria. So no trademarked, knockoff, or counterfeit goods. So you don't want to, if you want to basically avoid all of that. Facebook doesn't like it, and you don't want to get into any legal trouble as well. E-packet delivery with free shipping. This is kind of the best you can do, like the best type of shipping method for the Chinese manufacturers. So e-packet, if you're not familiar with it, it is a type of shipping method used it's basically the best value that you can get when you're shipping from China at this time. Maybe something else will come out that's better. But it takes, like, let's just say you're going for the standard shipping. I think it's like China Post. There's different versions of China Post. But that can take 45 to 50 days to get to your customer. That's a long time for somebody to wait. In fact, they may forget they have even ordered from you by the time it gets there. Like, oh, wow, I didn't even remember that I ordered this. So e-packet can take that 45, 50, or whatever couple months down to 2 weeks-ish, because there's always a processing time. There's usually a few days of processing, and then it's up to 14 to 20 days sometimes, or 10 to 14 days, depending. So, typically it's very economical, it's a very good value. It's the fastest way to get there. Sometimes you can find it for free shipping. Sometimes it's a couple bucks or $1 or 50 cents, just depending on what the item is. Products with over 300 orders, I mean, this isn't a huge criteria, but this is something that you can use. And I'll show you a couple different methods that you can research products. But what this is saying is you want to see that the product is selling. There's other ways to do this as well, and sometimes you may want to be the one to test it. It just depends on your risk tolerance and the approach that you want to take, but I definitely will give you a couple options here. High product rating, you definitely do want to see something like a high product rating. You set your own criteria. 4.5 is kind of a minimum, and where did I go here? Okay, 4.5 is a minimum. You may want to even set the bar higher. It just depends on you. But basically this means that customers who have ordered this product on AliExpress are rating the seller. So this is basically just high positive feedback. All right, so low price with a high margin potential. So you want to stick with purchasing products within, this is just a general rule. There's always, rules are meant to be broken, but within a $1 to $20 price range that can generate more than 50% profit margin. This will also help you have less risk of losing money on a sale. So in other words, when you're selling something via Facebook, and you're running traffic via an ad, you're not going to sell a house, or a lot of times you're not going to, or sell something that's like thousands and thousands of dollars, typically, through Facebook ads, unless you're just really, really good at what you do and this is super in demand. What we're looking for typically, and there are exceptions to this rule, are impulse type purchases. Anything that you can even sell retail at the $25, $30 range and below are pretty low, like that doesn't really require a lot of decision making. They're not having to have this internal battle or having a bunch of logic. It's like, oh, I want that, let me buy it. It's only $20 or $25, or it's only $15. The higher you get, sometimes that can basically that process is a little more difficult for people to give their money away as the price gets higher and higher. But it's you can still make it work. So, but if you buy something, if you can buy at $1 to $20 range, and then you can mark it up, 20 to 50 to 75 to 90, $100, then it leaves you some really good room for profit margin. Because remember, when you sell a product, you have the cost of the product. So if I sell, let's say I sell a necklace for $20, I have the cost of the product. Let's say it cost me $2. So now my profit margin is 18, and then I have the cost of the traffic. The traffic is, let's say it cost me $5 to get that person to actually purchase. So that's $2, that's $7. So I made a $13 profit. That's minus any fees that we have from our payment processing as well. All right, so those are the things to think about there. Now there's, you want to make sure that there's lots of great and unbranded photos. So make sure that the photos are actually from your manufacturer, not stolen from somebody else. And you can even remember we talked about earlier. You don't want to have watermarked photos. If you do, you either want to remove the watermark yourself, or you want to ask the vendor to send you some photos. And a lot of times they may make you purchase at least one product. All right. So communicative and reliable seller, we talked about this earlier. You just want to be able to reach out to them and know that they are going to be responsive and reliable, because that's one of your most important relationships, is your vendor relationships. And typically you'll have several vendors that you buy from. But if you can have a couple that are really reliable, that can get you all of the products that you need, then that's a very good strategy as well, because you know that you can rely on them. You've built this long-term relationship. And then you can also experiment and see if you can ever find better deals, and always be testing the vendors. And if you can just build up this list of reliable vendors, then that can't hurt. All right, adding products to your store. So things that you need to consider. Definitely want to write your own unique product descriptions. You don't want to use the generic descriptions from AliExpress. One, SEO reasons, they'll search you. And if your store comes up, most likely the AliExpress store will come up as well. You want to write your own descriptions for your products. You can use some of the elements like features and things like that, but don't copy it verbatim. Typically, they don't really have the best descriptions anyway. This is really up for debate. You definitely want to include the delivery time somewhere on your site, and you want to inform the customer. It's up to you whether you want to do it on the product page or not. But the benefit of doing this is the customers will be more informed of the estimated number of days for their order to arrive. The other places that you can do it, you can have an FAQ page or a page dedicated to shipping times. You can also include it on in the first email that you send out, called the order confirmation email, and you can include a line of it there. You can basically edit those email templates and do that. Use some type of order tracking app. There's one called Order Lookup. There's probably some that will always be changing. As of this, I know Order Lookup, it's just called Order Lookup, and you can search for it in the Shopify App Store, is a good one for the Shopify platform. For other platforms, you may want to look and see what they have in their App Store. So offer free shipping to your customers. This is another incentive that you can give to them. You can offer them free shipping. Price your products with a healthy margin. We talked about that. Add products to your store by using automation. So this is where we will actually transition into using Shopified App. I created Shopified App for this particular industry, for drop shipping, because of the process. People were doing this before manually. and manually adding products to their stores, manually fulfilling orders. So Shopify app was created to make all of our lives easier. You can do one-click products, importing products to your store, and you can do one-click order fulfillment. As of this time, who knows how far we will progress, over the next months and years to come. All right, so here's what Shopify app will help you do. So it will actually purchase the item on AliExpress and enter the customer's name and shipping address, and then the AliExpress seller handles the rest. So in other words, what happens, and I don't want to get into this too deep, but Shopify app, for actually placing the order, so that, remember we talked about it earlier, if somebody places an order on your store, you're then responsible for going to AliExpress and placing the order. Well, if you get hundreds of orders or thousands of orders, imagine doing that manually. There's not a perfect system at this point. It's not completely automated. Even with Shopify app, it's not completely automated. And the reason is because AliExpress doesn't really offer an ordering API. So what we do instead is give you a one-click process. And what it's doing is it's mimicking you manually placing the order. It will literally, like you click on the button, it will go to the AliExpress product page. It will choose the correct settings for you, assuming you've set it up correctly. And then it will go to the address page, enter the address, and then it will go to the last page, and then you need to confirm the actual purchase manually. That way it's automated, but it still gives you control. And if you see anything, and this is what I always tell people, automation, especially of this sort right here, you always want to double check your automation. And especially in the AliExpress scenario where there's no like official connection from AliExpress. So we have to we're basically having to work around that and mimic a lot of these things. So you always want to double check everything, which is easy to do once you're on the confirmation page. Just check the address, make sure everything matches up, and you are good to go there. So let the seller know you're drop shipping. This way the supplier won't include any invoices or promotions in the package being sent to your customer. We actually give you a way to do this. Shopify app gives you an order notes or notes to the seller kind of setting that you can fill in. Basically, you're able to connect the AliExpress product to your Shopify product. So we give you a way to do that. Batch payments. So instead of if you have 100 different orders, you don't want to have 100 different small transactions on your credit card. We give you a way to process multiple orders at one time. As of now, AliExpress only lets you process 10 orders at a time. Shopify app, we've taken it further, and now we allow you to click a button and we'll load up to 100 orders at a time as of this recording. We also will auto-fulfill the order once the tracking number is available. So the process typically is this: you place the order with the seller, you pay for it. After that, it takes a few days to process the order on the seller's part. Then they will issue a tracking number because they're getting ready to ship it out. Once they issue the tracking number, a Shopify app is scanning in the background. As long as you're logged into AliExpress, it's scanning in the background. And once it finds that tracking number, it will automatically update your order for you. That's another huge benefit, because this is something that manually had to be done. Imagine trying to do this with like hundreds of orders. It was really, really cumbersome. That is now automated for you. All right, so automatically send you an update once the order has been processed, shipped, and arrived at your customer's mailing address. So in other words, and this is something that Shopify does for you. Shopify, or whatever platform you're using, typically you will get an email once the order is, and actually AliExpress will actually probably send you an email as well, letting you know that you've placed the order. After that, you will get an update, or a Shopify app will update the order just like we talked about earlier. All right, so dealing with refunds and returns. So again, this is meant to be somewhat comprehensive. Obviously, we can't cover every scenario, but this is just to give you an overview of if you're getting started. Hopefully, this is really helpful for you just to see the big picture as a whole, because this is designed to let you see it at a very high level, and then you can get started with what we're coming up to here in just a few minutes, and this is actually going step by step to set up all of this. So an order that never arrives should be brought up to the AliExpress supplier. In other words, if the order never gets to your customer, you need to be contacting your supplier and let them know to resolve the issue. If the customer is simply not happy with the product, provide a refund as an option. So this, again, this is kind of up to you, your refund policy. If you're doing like a higher margin product or a higher ticket product, it's up to you how to handle that. And the key thing to take away with this, you have control over your own store. As long as you put your policies in place and you make them visible on your store, you have control over how that works. So you can provide different refund options based on different scenarios. If the product breaks, which is the next one, if the product is damaged, you definitely will probably want to provide a refund or replace the product. And you can see here, get the customer to take photos, send to you, and then you can send those photos to your AliExpress seller and take the necessary steps from there. All right, growing your business. Keep on improving your e-commerce business by finding ways to make the products that you sell more profitable. This gets into a little more advanced strategy, but as you go, there are different ways. The first thing you want to do is get started. Start learning how to sell, learn how to drive traffic from Facebook to your product pages and your category pages, how to improve conversion rates and things like that. That's step one. After that, once you've got that going, you can actually increase your average order value, and that means instead of the customer buying one product, there's techniques that you can use like upsells, one-click upsells, and things like that, and email marketing that you can use to turn somebody that just buys one product into somebody that buys multiple products. That is huge. So that's the next thing you'll definitely want to focus on. All right, so consider building strong business relationships with reliable suppliers that sell good quality of products. This is what we talked about earlier. This will help you get a better deal and priority order processing. If you can take that order processing down from 3-4 days to even 1 or 2 days, that's huge. That's 2 more days that your customer could get their product. So eventually, your suppliers may allow you to place your logo on products. So if you want some type of custom products, you could even do that as well. All right, so start drop shipping. If you're not sure that you are capable of selling a product and you think that the products may not gain enough income, quickly test it by adding it to your store. That is the beauty of drop shipping. That is one of the pros of drop shipping, is that you can test things easily. In other words, here's the scenario to test something with the old way, like bulk ordering. Bulk ordering, you would literally have to have a minimum number of products that you order, maybe 100, 500, who knows, depending on what it is, which you agree with the seller. You invest all of that money, you get into a warehouse, and then you start advertising it. It may or may not work. You have all of that money invested. All right. Now with drop shipping, this model, this is one of the huge benefits of this, is that in order to test something, it's up to you to present it in a good way on your store. Think, if you've ever seen a good offer, think of Apple, how they really present their products in a really good way, or some other products, like even jewelry stores or anything like that. It's all about the presentation. So if you can take your product that you find on AliExpress, put it on your product page, provide really good pictures, maybe you have some type of unique angle or position. In other words, you take a blue ring, instead of it just being a blue ring, it's a blue ring for police officers, or a red ring for firefighters, or something like that. And that's just a small example. You don't always have to do that. But if you spend time on actually crafting a good presentation on just a few products as you're starting and learning this, then that's going to increase your chances that you're able to sell. But you can do it quicker. You can do it quickly. You can put the product on there, put your position, run Facebook ads to it, and find out how well it's converting. If there's anything you can do to improve it. If it's not, you can scrap it and try something else. There's not tons and tons of cost loss. You will have time that you lose, and you will have the investment in your Facebook ads that you will lose, which may be, depending on how long you test it, 15, 20, 25 bucks. But compare that to the alternate scenario, and that's the thing you want to get into. You don't want to get into this mindset of that you're going to get into this and you're going to be able to do this for zero money down. There are investments of time, and there are investments of testing and learning. You're going to have to get that into your mind that you are going to have to spend money testing different things. It is a business. It's not so easy that you literally just throw a product up there and you run any type of traffic to it and you're just going to start becoming a millionaire. So if anything, it's a craft. There is a little bit of an art to it. So that's with any business though. So you either decide to do that and take that leap with this particular business model, which has tons of advantages, and do it here, or you may, in other words, if you don't get committed, then there's really no point in even jumping into it. So I say that again just to have that right mindset. If a specific product is not profitable, stop running traffic to it and test another. Since you don't manage any inventory of the products that you sell and there's no financial commitment or upfront fees, there's less risk in setting up your dropshipping business. Again, that's what we just talked about. There is risk, there's less risk. There is investment, but there's less investment. All right. Congratulations, you've made it through the first part. Now, let's actually get into the demo. I'm going to take you through step-by-step live, and we're going to set up the store, we're going to add a theme, we're going to add some products, we're going to register for Shopified App, we're going to register for AliExpress. So this is like a marathon training session, and hopefully it's for the most part, a one-stop shop to get you up and going and to get you an understanding of what's happening. So hopefully you're excited, and hopefully you've learned a lot already, just an overview of what all of this is and how it works. Now it's time to take some action. So let's see what we're going to do here. Here's our checklist. We're going to do store setup. We're going to do all of these things, choosing the plan, which theme, which name, or choosing a name, domain name, all of these different steps as fast as I can. Again, we are in a time crunch. So not a time crunch, but we're not going to sit here and just spend hours on each item. Here we're really going to kind of go through these. The idea is to get you familiar with where everything is and what you should do to be able to make decisions on this stuff. We're going to get you set up with Shopified App. If you're not set up already, I'll just show you how to do that. It's super easy. We'll just talk about registering for an AliExpress account, product research, adding products to your store. We'll talk about placing and fulfilling orders. So this should give you a very good overview of how everything works. All right, so let's go ahead and create our store on Shopify. This link right here is just for me to remember. This is actually located inside of Shopified App. We'll talk about this later, but there's a link to get your free trial. 21-day free trial with 10% off Shopify for life. The thing to note about this is once we actually click this and go through this, for whatever reason, Shopify does not show you the special pricing or even the 21-day free trial. It'll still say 14-day free trial. It will still probably have the normal price of the plans because they for whatever reason, they just applied everything just to the invoice. So I do get questions about that a lot. So that's just the way they do it. If you ever use this link to get this deal, and you even after they bill you, you're seeing that you don't get their percentage off, then all you need to do is just reach out to them and say, hey, I used the link from Shopified App to get this deal that they gave me, and I'm not seeing it. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. First thing we need to do is set up our store. So you can see up here, here's the code. That means Rankin Engine is just my business, so they assigned this deal So you can always reference Rank Engine or Shopify app or whatever when you're talking to them. But you can see here it's pretty normal. It still says 14 days, so that's a confusing point. It's just, I guess they just don't have a way to really change that. But all you need to do is just enter your email address to get going. So I'm going to do Chase plus demo, hopefully this works, at shopifiedapp.com. So just enter your email here, whatever it is, and hit get started. Now you will choose a password. So it looks like it changed my email address there. I think my password thing is trying to fill it in for me. All right, so I'm going to do my password here. And we're going to do all right. So you'll put in your store name. Again, this isn't hugely important right now. This is, you can change your store name. So let's go ahead and create the store and see what happens here. So right now they're going through, and you can see it's going through and it's setting everything up. They ask you a few little questions here. Are you already selling? You can say whatever applies to you. How much revenue? I'm just getting started. I'm not designing this for a client. So I'll hit next, and then we will go here. So Chase Bowers, you will enter your real address. I'm just doing this for an example. Birmingham. I'm in Alabama. Phone number, I'll just do this for now. Business or personal website, that's optional. All right, so we'll just go ahead and do this. All right, so now we are in, our account is created. You'll notice up here they use your title for your URL, but again, you will not be, or I don't recommend you using this as your actual URL. You will want to purchase a domain name and connect it. All right, so we've created our account. Now we need to choose a plan. You don't have, basically you're in a trial right now. So we want to go ahead and select a plan. You can see up here, select a plan. And you can choose whatever plan you feel is best. The things to note about the plans, if you're just starting out, maybe you want to choose a $29 a month plan. You do have higher rates that they charge you per like transaction, 30 cents plus the 2.9%, the 79 a month. It's 2.6, 2.4 for the $2.99 a month. Again, this is kind of expensive. Maybe you don't want to spend that much starting out. At some point, though, if you become more successful and you start selling more, it definitely makes sense to go up to these higher plans, because even just the credit card transaction fees alone can make a big difference when you're selling a lot. It's only 0.5% difference. That can make a difference for sure. And they give you some more features as well. Advanced reporting. You have something called carrier calculated shipping, which can be beneficial as well. All right, so in this case, I'm just going to choose this plan, $29 a month plan. It's going to ask for my card number. So at this point, you'll want to go ahead and do this. I'm not going to do this, but you'll go through, you'll want to make sure you have the right information here. You can do it once a month, do it for a year, etc. All right, so you will go ahead and confirm changes, and that will pick your plan for you. All right, so our next step after we do that is to choose our theme. So let's go and actually select a theme. So in order to do this, this is your navigation over here. You want to go down to a sales channel called Online Store, and you want to click on it and go to Themes. So here you can actually visit the theme store. So let's visit the theme store and we'll take a look about what we have to offer. Now you have free themes, paid themes, themes that are outside of the Shopify theme store that you can get on places like ThemeForest, etc. So You can also, Diana looks like she's talking to me, and she's letting me know about the theme. So this is their little live chat feature. So that's something good to know about their support. So you can actually write a reply. You can even start a new conversation right here, just like that. So pretty cool. All right, so let's look at the themes. I can sort by free, paid, etc. Tons of great looking themes here. So this one's free. We have Jumpstart, it's free, etc. There are things to know if you're just starting out again and you're just experimenting. Maybe you want to just start with the free theme. There's definitely advantages to choosing even some paid themes out there that are conversion focused. A lot of times you'll get themes that are more just design focused. They look really good, but maybe they're slow. If they're slow, then that means it's going to affect the load time, and your customers may get a little frustrated and leave. I'm not saying that will be the case with the free themes, but it's something to definitely think about. There are certain themes out there that people sell that they specifically market as conversion focused. So something just to think about. But you can get started with a free one. Let's just choose this Jumpstart. This is designed for a crowdfunding campaign, so small inventory. So if you're featuring, basically if you're featuring just a few products, maybe you just have like one flagship products, then maybe you want to use this because it's definitely really cool and it features your product very well. What you can, I know another popular theme is the Brooklyn theme. There's Boundless, etc. Exodus. See, these are paid themes right here. Let's just go with the Brooklyn theme. So let's go. All you need to do, you can test drive it by just hitting View Demo, or you can just go ahead and install it. So we will just go ahead and install this, and you can choose to publish it or install it as an unpublished theme. Unpublished just means it's on your themes page, it's something you've installed, but it's not live. I would just go ahead and publish this and make this my live theme. Your theme is basically your design, and some of them include certain functionalities. Each theme is different. Each theme has its own setting. So let's go back to our theme manager. And now you can see Brooklyn. This is our main theme that we're using. This is a theme that we have installed, but it's not published. If I wanted to publish this debut theme, then I could publish it as well. But I want to leave this like it is and use the Brooklyn theme. So a couple things to note here. We have a customized theme section. You click on this, you can actually get all of your settings for your theme. So over here you can see the different sections. There's the sidebar menu, header, slideshow. You can click on each of these things and you can see this is saying there's a sidebar or a primary menu, an additional menu, and it's asking you or it's telling you which menus do you want to use for these menus. And so in other words, there's a place in Shopify where you can create different menus. Let's say you wanted a main thing, a different menu that you use at your footer, a different one for a sidebar or whatever. You can actually choose which one of these menus you want to use in this sidebar. So this is just different sections. There's the header section. You can upload your logos. You can customize that. There's a slideshow section, and this is probably this section right here. You can see there's 2 slides right now, and there's 2 dots. If I wanted to edit that slide, I can click on the arrow, upload an image. I can change the text color. Maybe I want it to be light. You can see it will probably change here to light. So that's all up to you. You can even change the text, an introductory hero banner. You can change all of that here. So themes are all different. This is just how this one works, but they're going to be similar in that they have some type of settings that you can set up. You'll want to click through each one, really understand what your theme is doing, so you just know where to change things. So we have our general settings as well. Colors, you can change the colors of your theme. Maybe your background you want to be red, which I probably wouldn't recommend that, but that's something you can do there. Text, line color, buttons, cell tags. You have control of all of this, which is really cool. You don't have to be a coder. There's typography. Maybe you want to change the font. There's the cart page, which is pretty important. What type of cart do you want, a drawer or a page? And you can choose to use either one. A page is like a separate page. A drawer, I'm I'm guessing it just slides out or it pops up or something, but you can test that and see. I would probably, okay, then there's social media. You can add any of your accounts, like your Facebook page that you've set up for your store. Favicon, it's a 32 by 32 image. It's basically these little images up here. If you want you to have like a custom favicon, then you can take your logo and maybe take any type of emblem that you have and have a designer or yourself just kind of scale it down to 32 by 32 and just upload it here. You have your checkout page, so you can customize your checkout page, which is really cool. You can add a logo. There's some different content areas as well, so that's really cool. Yeah, so that is customizing your theme. So that's super important, and you'll want to go through each of those steps. All right, so after that, if you ever want to view your, let's just go back to Shopify here. And also you want to make sure you save your settings, so that's huge. So make sure you save your settings. And if you ever want to view your store, you can see this menu that pops out. This little thing right here will let you view your store. So let's go ahead and view it. I'll open it in another tab here. And this is just by default, this is what it looks like. This is your home page. You have a place for your slideshow. You have a place for your collections, which is just a group of products. It's a collection. Let's talk about those. A featured collection, so you can take one collections and feature it here. And then there's a place for a mailing list, etc. So typically, all of this can be customized in your theme settings. Then you have your different pages. The catalog page is like kind of a built-in page. You can also create other pages. What if you wanted a contact us page? What if you wanted a FAQ page? Those are things that can be created as well. And we'll talk about just the place you can go to create those. You also have menus. A menu is just this, what you see up here. You can customize which pages and which links are in your menu. You can add them here. Typically, you can add a menu at the bottom. Looks like there's one here called search, so you can do that as well. All right, so we talked about creating pages. In our online store section, under pages, that's where we create new pages. If I want to create a new FAQ page, I can go here. I can call it FAQ, and then I can add my content. And this is just like a Microsoft Word type editor, basically a rich text editor. I can add all of my stuff there. I can make them bullet points, however I want to do that. So that's up to you. I recommend having an FAQ page, maybe a contact us page. Also, you want to have like a privacy policy page. That's very important as well, especially if you're doing paid advertising via Facebook ads. It's very important to have. You also want to have some type of maybe a refund policy, terms of service type page. The cool thing about this is if you go over here, for example, what would you put on your privacy policy or your terms of service? If you go to your settings and you go to, let's go to account, I believe. Where is it? Let me find this. Payments, checkout, shipping. It may be under, here it is, okay. Look at this. The pages that we talked about that were important, they have sample refund policy pages. So you literally click this right here. It puts it all right here. I can copy it. I can go back over to that page, and I can paste it in there, read through it, change anything, and make it custom for me. I can do the same thing here. It generates a sample one, and then you can go through and customize it. Generate a sample one, copy it, and paste it into a new page. So your steps are generate it, create a new page, copy this text, paste it into the page, update it, make it your own. Just change anything that doesn't make sense, and just insert your own stuff. Do that 3 times, 3 separate pages. Okay, the thing to note about when you create pages, just because you create a page doesn't mean it goes into your menu item. In fact, it won't. If I create a new page, it's not going to show up here. So how do you control this? How do you control these? That's where your menus come into play. So we go back to our online store, and we go to navigation. Your navigation is what controls what's in your different menus. You can see we have something that we've called main menu. I can even change the name of that, but this is the main menu. It's just for label purposes. And we have home and catalog. If I go up here, you can see home and catalog is up here. So this is, right now we've chosen to use the main menu here in our primary menu section. So I could go in here to edit menu, and I could add in new menu items. If I wanted a FAQ, I could type in FAQ, and then I could go to page. Right now I don't have the FAQ page selected, but after I've created this page, it would appear in this list of pages. As you can see, there's no results found because I haven't created any pages, but it would show up there. And you do the same thing with any page that you would want to appear in this menu. Now, for your footer menu, you probably want to have a different menu for it. So after you created that, you could say that I'll just do, for right now, I will get rid of this, and we will go back to our navigation. And we have a different one for footer. So I could edit the footer, and I could do the same thing. I can add one for privacy policy. I can add a menu item for our refund policy, for our terms of service. I can add up all of those different pages, and I would just, name it, and I would go to page, and I would choose the page that I would have created. So hopefully that makes sense. So create the pages first, and then add them to your different menu items. All right, so yeah, we're cruising along here, so really good. So we have, you want to choose a name, or basically a domain name. Once you've chosen your domain name, then you can actually connect it to your Shopify store, and I'll show you how to do that. You have a couple different options. But when you're choosing your name, when you're choosing your brand name, your domain name, think of brand. Think of something that is appealing. You can, of course, you can do anything you want, but I caution you from just using like cheapproducts.com or something similar to that, because you're always going to be based on price. You're always going to be stuck in like having to have cheap products because people will always be coming for the best deals. You can do that strategy, but your margins may be a little bit smaller, and it may be harder to transition if you ever want to have higher margin products. All right, so think of something. I've heard of strategies like combining popular women's names if you're going into the women's like jewelry or clothing niche. So go to like 2016 popular baby girl female names and see the top ones, and maybe combine two of them together, and that could create like a unique name that has like kind of a luxury appeal. And of course, you can have other techniques. Just if you're in the outdoor niche, you might not want to use that strategy. You may want to use something that's more outdoors oriented. I would just caution you from choosing a name that limits you to cheap products. All right, so domain name. When we're ready to do that, we can go over here to domains. Again, this is under online store, domains, and we can actually buy our domain name through Shopify. And look right here, they actually show us how to do it, adding a domain name. So this shows you how to do it. If you've already purchased from somebody else, like from GoDaddy or Namecheap or Network Solutions, there's tons of them out there. If you've already purchased it elsewhere, then you can connect it by doing this. And it shows you how to do it. And they even give you a video. You're basically creating an A record and a C name. So this is a little bit advanced, but it's not too bad. There's a place where you can typically manage what's called DNS records. And you would add an A record, and you would, put in, you would put this in for your A record, and you would put this in for your C name record. And just watch this video. If you want the easy route, then you can buy your domain name through here. You don't have to really do that any longer. You just go to buy new domain name. They tell you what they're going to do, and they tell you it's going to be $13 a year. You would put it in, check for the availability, and add it. So it's super easy to do. And I believe this is the case. I actually haven't tried this yet, but if you buy your domain name through here, I believe you can set up email forwarding with Shopify. In other words, you can create, I don't know if it actually gives you an inbox or not. In other words, I think you can create it where you can create like a support at, whatever your store is.com, and have that email address forward to some other email address that you already own. You can do it that way. So that's like a tip maybe to save a little money on like buying email elsewhere. You also have the option, for using like Gmail or Google Apps, like the more professional email, and setting up that as well. Or Zoho.com is another place you can host your email. You definitely want to have an email address though for your store so customers can reach out to you, and it's very profitable. All right, I'm going to go ahead and copy this link and paste it in here just for those of you who are watching, or include it, and I may include it just somewhere if you're, depending on when and where you're watching this. Hopefully I'll have a place on the page that you can click through to this as well. All right, so we've set up our theme, we set up our domain name, we've connected that, our support email address that we talked about. We've talked about our privacy policies, how to create all these different pages, our payment settings. So payment settings is something else we need to talk about. Payment settings, let's go over to settings, I believe, right here. You'll go to payments. You'll need to, you have a couple of different options. If you're in an area of the world that supports Shopify payments, then you can use that. It's not supported everywhere. So if it's not, then it gets, if you wanted to use it, it gets a little more difficult. There are ways to do it. You can, create basically like buy some type of business address in the U.S. I think there's like some, I've never done it personally, but the basic steps that you can research into is set up some type of business address in the U.S., I believe, and then I think you can register your business in the U.S. by getting like an EIN, basically it's a way that the government can keep track of your sales and charge you taxes and all of that. And then that's how you can do it with the U.S. There's also, I believe, Shopify payments. You can read about it a little bit more, but I believe it's like U.S., Canada, maybe Australia, UK. I'm not exactly sure, but you want to read to see if it's available in your country. And you can always reach out to Shopify support as well to see some different options. There's also PayPal that you can do as well. And to do any of these, you're literally just going through this and hit complete account setup, and they want to know a few things about you. They want to know what this is. Do you have a business set up? Do you have an EIN? It's optional. Do you have, what your business address is, your date of, your date of birth, last four of your social, your average order price, average shipping time, description of products or services, customer billing statement, like what needs to appear on that, routing number, account number. So all of this is important. So you'll just go through and choose these different options. And then you'll complete the setup. It is an application process, so you may or may not be approved depending on what they think about you. And that's just with any payment provider, payment processing. This is definitely a huge part of it. You definitely want to, if you don't have your payment processing set up, obviously you can't get paid. PayPal is another option. There's also alternative payment options. They have a list here as well that you can use. Manual payments. There's also some other things here. Also, I think you can even reach out if you have like maybe authorized.net or something like that. There are ways to integrate that in here. So if you have something you may want to use, reach out to Shopify support and let them know there may be a way to get that plugged in here. All right, let's go back to our list. So we talked about navigation. Let's talk about collections. So collections are going to be located under products. Let's go back up here. Products. And products is obviously where you add your products. We haven't added any yet, which I'll just go ahead and click on this so you can see what it looks like. If you wanted to manually add a product, you could add the title, description, images, product type, which is basically kind of like a category. Is it a shirt or pants? Or vendor is like the brand name. Collections here, this is just you can put all of your pants into a collection. maybe all of your necklaces could be in a collection. You can do this however you want. It's more freeform, but you can. That's if you already created collections, you can manually add them here. You can add tags about your product, pricing information, inventory if needed, your weight of the product, and different variants. What if you had like different colors? You can add those here. So I can do like size, small, medium, large. I can do another one for color, blue, red, etc. Blue, red, purple, size, small. I'm just separating these with commas, medium, etc. So that's how that would work. And then each of these would have their own price. After you have these different combinations, you need to put their own price for each. After that, you save it and you have a product. All right. So I'm going to talk about collections. Collections, and before I talk about collections, one thing you need to know about collections is you can manually add products to collections. So if I created a collection, which is just a group of products that I want to feature on my store, I want an easy way for people to view all of the pants, all of my jeans. Maybe I just create something called jeans, a collection called jeans, and I would list all of the different jeans products that I have in that collection. So you can manually add each jeans, a pair of jeans, to that jeans collection, or you can do something called like automated rules that are based off product type. In other words, you can create a collection that says if there's any product that I create on my store and it has jeans as the product type, then automatically add it to that collection. So I hope that's what I recommend. That's the more powerful of the two, because it's more automated. You can do the same thing with tags. If there's any product that I add to my store that has the tag of jeans, then add it to the jeans collection. So you can do that with different things. The same thing with shirts, etc. If you add a shirt to your store, maybe you give it a product type of shirt, and then you can also create a collection for that. So let's just do a demo, and then I would just save. Let's make it for $4, and I'll save the product. All right, and then I'll go to collections. So I've created the product type of jeans. I'm going to create an automated collection here. I'm going to add a new collection. Remember, this is just a group of products. So let's do, I'm going to call this my jeans collection. And all I need to do is use this condition down here that says automatically select products based on conditions. Products must match either all conditions or any condition. So in my case, all I said was product type is equal to, and remember what I put? Jeans. And that's it. Now, when I save it, that product that I added earlier will automatically be added to this collection. So I will just save it. And then when I come down here, you'll see this demo product that we added. That's it. That's the one we just added. It was automatically added to that collection. So you can see how powerful that is. Because it had the product type of jeans, it gets added to that collection. So that's how I recommend creating your collections. All right, and another note on collections, when you're going to your online store, you can actually add collections to your navigation if you wanted to. Let's say I wanted to feature some different collections here. I can go here, add a menu item called jeans. I can go here and go to collection. I can select the jeans collection, save the menu, go to my store, I'll refresh the page, and the jeans collection should be here now whenever it refreshes. There it is, jeans. So that's how you add the different collections to your store. Pretty cool. I can click on it, and it will show me all of the different products. Again, I don't have it, it's just one product right now. But if there were multiple, then it actually had images, it would show up here. So super powerful. All right, let's keep going. We talked about logo. Things about your logo, definitely get this professionally designed. You can reach out to somebody if you want to. I've done this many of times. Find a really good seller on Fiverr.com, and I'll typically pay anywhere from $25, $75 for a logo. It's five. I mean, they'll sell it to you for $5, but I like to get the source files and a couple different options. So I could go here and I could type in logo or something like that. You can even see there's one right here. I can search for logo, or even like graphics and design, something like that. But typically they'll give you good ratings, and you can see the history of the seller. So this one, they have 156 5-star ratings. You could do that, and you could see these other sellers as well once the information starts to come in. 991, 1,000 plus. So you could choose these right here, give them an example of something else that you like a style that you like, and give them some basic direction of what you're looking for, and they will design it for you, usually in a few days, and you can use that logo to add to your store. So it's really cool. It's not a huge investment. It starts at $5, but typically you'll end up spending, something like 20 or $50. But $50 for a good logo is not bad. Again, it's a business. You want to invest in your business. So you can do this very inexpensively compared to other things, but again, the less you invest in it, it's not always the case. But if you're not investing anything and everything is just super cheap, and you're not a designer and you try to design a logo, it can look very unprofessional and cause problems with your conversions on your store. People may not buy because it doesn't look professional. Shipping settings. This gets complicated sometimes. The easiest way is just to include your shipping costs into your margin. So if you order a product, or a product that you order from AliExpress is like $2, include that in your margin. It costs you $2, it ships for $2, your total cost is $4. Maybe you want to sell it for, $25 or something. That way you include your margin, then you can charge free shipping. You can also charge shipping to the customer. It doesn't have to be the same thing that AliExpress sells it for. If AliExpress charges you $2, you don't have to charge $2 to the customer. You can charge whatever you want, just a flat $5 fee, $2, $2.95 for shipping, whatever you want to charge. But again, it can affect your conversions. The easiest setup for your store is just to do free shipping on everything. However, if you don't want to do that, it gets really complicated because you have to Shopify, and we can take a look at it. They don't have the best shipping options. So let's go to settings, shipping. Basically, you have to either use price or weight to calculate shipping. So here, if I go to shipping zones, you have domestic. So this, for me, it's domestic would be the US and the rest of the world. I need to edit all of these. I can go into these right here, and I can add different rules or rates. So price-based or weight-based. So this right here would be add a rate for weight. I could just call it, if I just wanted to do free shipping, I could just say right here, I could call it free shipping. This is the easiest one to do, and I could say 0 to 990,000. You can do it based on weight or whatever. That way, and the rate amount is 0, and hit done. Then basically everything in my store would be marked free shipping as long as I had like some type of weight of 0 or anything in it really. So that sets up your free shipping rate. Again, you always want to test these things to make sure they play out like you think they're going to play out. You can also do it based on price. Some people, if they want to get more complex, and they use weight, basically they'll use the weight field to kind of manipulate what they want the price to be. Again, I'm not going to cover that in this training because it gets kind of complex. But just to let you know, there is another route. It's a little more pricey. There's something Shopify offers called carrier calculated rates, and that's this right here. By default, you do not have this. You actually have to pay extra for this. Right now it's showing because it's in my trial, but if only certain plans have this, or you have to pay extra. The $29 plan does not have this by default. But it's a feature that you have to have in order to use an app called Better Shipping or some other type of shipping apps where you can actually control and have more control over the shipping. With Better Shipping app, it's a Shopify app. Again, you have to have this feature enabled. But if you do, you can use that app to actually manually type in your pricing for each product. So you could have one product that's $2, one that's $3, one that's $7. I mean, you can do whatever you want to each individual product. By default, Shopify does not let you do that. You have to use these rules, which can get a little complex. If you want to keep it simple, make everything free, calculate your shipping cost into the margin of your product. Awesome. We are coming along pretty good here. So we have a few more sections to go. Let's go ahead and get registered for Shopify app. There are a few other things. You'll definitely want to go through each of these sections like general. Make sure you go through there, fill out all the information. Let's just look to see. You want to make sure you fill out any of this info, choose your time zone, all of that. Shipping, taxes, you depending on where you are, your tax rates, you can change this. Again, I can't really give any hard and fast rules here because this could change at any time. I think for the past few years, you at least had to charge tax for whatever state that you were in or your business is located in. So if somebody purchased, I'm in Alabama, if somebody purchased on my store from Alabama, I would need to charge the appropriate sales tax for that and collect that. But it could change. They may want us to charge on everything going forward. So just you have to kind of look into that on your own. But you can choose how when to charge taxes, charge on shipping rates, and everything like that. All right, notifications. You can set up. These are important just to bring attention to these. This is your order confirmation. This is the email that gets sent out when your customer orders from your store. If I click this, you can manipulate these. They get a little crazy looking. You can see here that there's a bunch of text or a bunch of like code, HTML code, liquid code. So it's kind of hard to go through, but if you can find like something that says anything that you can actually read, then we can actually manipulate that. You can see here it says if you have questions, reply to this email. So you can actually edit this, but you need to go through and you can see thank you for your purchase. Hi, we're getting your order ready to be shipped. So this is the title of your email, probably the subject line most likely. And then you have your body. So you could add a sentence here, shipping, we're very thankful. Orders typically arrive within or in up to 14 to 20 days, whatever your shipping times are. You would want to put that there. But that's something you can manipulate. You can manipulate any of these emails. So if you want to provide a more customized customer experience, this is where you do it. This is your shipping confirmation. You can do the same thing here if you ever want to edit anything about that. So just know that these are here. All right, you have your file section if you ever want to upload a custom file and use it for whatever reason somewhere. This is where you can upload files, badges, logos, guarantee, things like that. It's a little more advanced, but just know that it's there. You do have other sales channels that you can use. You have, they're adding them all of the time. As of now, you can see there's all of these things. There's Facebook, there's Messenger, which is really cool. You may want to look into that one. Mobile app, Pinterest, point of sales, tons of different stuff they have, Winello, Twitter. So you can kind of check those out as well. Don't get too overwhelmed by all the different options now. Keep it simple. Yeah, a note on the Better Shipping app. Actually, I believe it's with any plan. You can pay $20 per month extra if you want to have that carrier calculated shipping feature, or any plan that you order and pay a year in advance, they will automatically include the carrier calculated shipping in there. That's as of the last time I talked to them. What happens is if I want to pay for a year in advance, I go ahead and do that. Then I reach out to the support team here in the live chat and say, hey, or you may want to do it first just to confirm. Reach out and say, hey, I want the carrier calculated shipping because I want to use the Better Shipping app. What do I need to do that? Or can I go ahead and, if I pay for a year in advance, then will you go ahead and can you go ahead and include that and update my account with it? So that's definitely an option there for sure. All right, so let's go into set up Shopify app now. So now we want to automate. We've got a lot of this set up. Now we want to start, adding products and fulfilling orders and all of that. So getshopifiedapp.com is the place you want to go to choose your plan. So I'll go here. Sorry, my internet's going a little bit slow. All right, so once you're here, you'll just go to Try Now or the pricing page, and you can go through and see. We're going to update our website here soon, but you can go to Try Now or pricing. They take you to the same place as of now, and you can see the different pricing plans. All of these are free for 14 days, so I always I recommend choosing the Elite to get the full experience. But these are Light is one store. All of these have one store included. The free is really, I probably will end up removing this just because it looks kind of dumb with all these X's here. But it's really just a, even if you don't want to invest any money in this, we're giving you a free extension that lets you do a search for products that have ePacket, and it gives you an extra tool. It's just kind of a free gift, basically. But I'll probably take it off this page eventually. But Light this is literally like if you're just getting started and you just want to add a few products to your store. Pro is a little more full-featured version of Light. You can add unlimited products, unlimited boards. It's still just one store. You can even add additional stores for $27 a month. It only costs $27 a month, so it's still a good deal. You can add products from a few other stores. It has a U.S. product database. Has all of these automatic margins, shipping options, all of these few extra things. And then obviously the best one is Elite. It gives you all of the stuff from Pro, but it also adds the order fulfillment options, the one-click order fulfillment. Currently it is the only plan right now that offers one-click order fulfillment. So if you're just starting out, you can start out with Light or Pro and upgrade to Elite when you start actually getting orders. Even if you just get a couple orders, you may want to do Elite, or maybe you still want to do Light or Pro. It's just kind of up to you and your preference. Fulfilling just a couple manual orders is not a huge deal, but once you start to grow, then you may want to choose Elite. So let's just go ahead and do Elite for now for the full experience for 14 days for free. It will take you here. You register. Let's just go ahead and register our account. So I will make this Chase demo. Chase plus demo at all right, make sure you read through the terms and conditions. It's very important. Agree. If you do agree, hit register. There's no credit card required to try the trial. So now we have our account. It's already, we're good to go here. Just go ahead and, actually that button shouldn't be there because we've already got it activated here. So, but you can get, if you want to, this is important, within the first 10 days you can get 50% off of your first month. So you can see the offer will end in 9 days. So it's just saying that we're just rewarding you for entering your billing information early. All right, so you can do that. There's a place for invoices. Anytime you can click on your plan name, or you can even click over your options, go to your profile, and manage everything here. All right, so the first thing we want to do is just go to our stores page. Let's go ahead and connect this store that we have. So I have, this is the URL of my store. Let me just go ahead and copy this. Shopified app store.myshopify.com. That is the URL that I want to use. I will come over here to Shopified app right here, and that is something that should not do that. So I will need to remember that. That's supposed to be showing there. All right. Theoretically, that should be working, but it gives you a demo of everything. Then let's do this, and then it shows you, this will actually walk you through how to connect your store, and you can see the different points here. get the free trial. You can install the Chrome extension. So let's go ahead and add our store. You basically just click Add Store. Okay, we have a feature that's just been added, and these guys dancing. Advanced variant mapping, which is really cool. For now, go ahead to Add Store. I'm going to enter the store URL, hit Add Store. It's going to take me over to my store, and I just hit Install App. I'm going to go to this account now because I have the stores added, and we can use this as our test account. All right, so what you do, you want to set up your settings. Once you get the store successfully connected, then we want to just go through our different settings here, just make sure everything is right. You can add, basically you have your products importing settings. So when you're actually adding products to your store, you have these different markups. You have the price markup, the compare at price markup. You have the price cents value, compare at price cents value. So what this is saying that is when you're adding a product from AliExpress to your store, if the product costs $5, then you want to mark it up 100%, and it gives you an example here. So if you mark it up 100%, it would be 100% of 5 is 5, so 5 plus 5 is 10. The same thing here, price cents value is how do you want to end your pricing? You want to end in 95 cents, 00, 99 cents, etc. Your default weight unit, if you're in the US, you may want to use pounds if you're selling to people in the US. If you're selling to people elsewhere, you may want to use something else. Compare at price markup, that's just the same thing except for your compare at price, which is a field that Shopify has. It's basically like your compare at price is like your list price, and this price is like your sell price. Same thing over here. If you have some type of pricing rules that you use, you may want to put in some type of fixed weight. If not, then it doesn't matter. You can leave that blank. All right, you have your default product descriptions. So if you don't want all the junky stuff that comes in from AliExpress, then you can either leave this empty, use simplified, or custom. It's kind of up to you. Simplified basically is like if you go to AliExpress product, and let's just find a product really quick. I'll just choose this. A lot of their products have really junky and really ugly looking descriptions. So let's go here and see what it looks like. You can see here they have like all these images, a bunch of just trashy stuff that you don't really want. I would not want all of this stuff on my page. So I would always recommend I'll leave it there, or we leave it there just so you have an option, but I would either use simplified. Simplified, what it does is it takes you to, it actually just uses this part of it right here. And it doesn't use all the other stuff. And then the custom is completely custom. Eventually we'll have some more like different options here where you can combine things, maybe even use different variables and stuff like that, make it a little more advanced. For now you have these different. Empty, you can always leave it empty and just write it custom something every time. Or custom is cool if you have like a basic thing that you like to say for most products, you can use it and then add your own little twist to it each time. Typically I recommend making your products visible unless you have a reason not to. That way people can see them and purchase them on your store. Then we get into your auto-fulfill settings. So this is important. Your order phone number, I typically recommend to put your own personal phone number. So I've got an example number here. So you can put whatever your personal number is there. That way, when you go to place the order on AliExpress via Shopified app, it will actually overwrite the customer's phone number with your phone number. That way, if they're basically, and the reason you want to do this, if there's a problem with the product or the order, they rarely will ever do it, but sometimes they have texted me before. You don't want AliExpress texting your customer. If you, whatever reason, you still want to use your customer's number, you can't do that here. Custom note to the supplier. This is important. Remember, we talked about we want to leave a note to the supplier saying don't include any pricing, invoice, or promotional materials with this product. So some type or some version of this statement is very important to include. And when Shopified app goes through to place the order, it will automatically insert that statement into the notes section of that order. All right, so select ePacket when available. So this is nice. So we talked about how important ePacket was. So if ePacket is available, make sure you turn that on if you would like to use ePacket when placing an order. We also have some more advanced options now, but this is kind of our global option. Automatically mark as ordered. This one I would definitely recommend on. What happens here is when we place the order, we automatically want to have some type of, well, we want to have some type of reminder or indication that the order has been placed. Because in Shopify, there's not like an option that says order has been placed. There's only a fulfilled option. But in our case, it's like a two-step process. We want step one, we want to place the order on Shopify, on AliExpress. And step two, we want to what's called fulfill the order. Fulfill is a Shopify term that just means that the order has been shipped and it is done. It is ready to go to the customer. It's just in process, and it's basically completed at that point until it's in that state of we've shipped it and it's on its way to the customer. Then you mark it as fulfilled. So automatically marked as ordered is something we've done for Shopified app to automatically capture the order ID from AliExpress and mark it as ordered. So super important to have that checked. Automatically fulfill, I definitely recommend to do hourly. I also recommend to use shipping confirmation or send a shipping confirmation. What happens here, once we have fulfilled it, we've found the tracking number, then we will automatically send a shipping confirmation. And then this is just only when tracking number is valid. Every once in a while, AliExpress may send some type of weird tracking number that actually isn't valid, so you may want to check this. All right, these aren't available. These are beta features as of now, depending on when you're watching the video. We have some version of automation coming here, so pretty cool just to see though. And then we also have a version of this coming soon too. This is a CAPTCHA setting. This is beta, it's not ready for release, but pretty cool stuff. So this will enable auto CAPTCHA solving. In other words, when after you place like 4 or 5 orders in AliExpress or something like that, they will begin to present you with a CAPTCHA that you have to fill in manually. And it kind of stops the order process. It's a little cumbersome. It's just part of the process though. So we're working on something to enable that where we will try to solve the CAPTCHA for you, and that way it can be kind of still more hands-off. So those are your settings. Those are really important to set up. So we are cruising through here. This is a lot, and I hope this is almost like a one-stop shop video just to really get you going. It is a lot of training, but I wanted to provide something like if you're just starting out, this is something, this is a place that you can just watch this training and kind of know what's going on, how to get started, and it's like a quick start video really. All right, so we talked about our settings. The one thing you do need to do is install your Chrome extension, and how you do this is if you're on the stores page, you'll go over here to where it says install Chrome extension, and you click on it. It will open up a new page with the extension, and I would love, if you're watching this, even now, if you've already installed it, you can see we have over 6,000 users, 29 reviews, so we need you to go out and actually review this and let us know how you like it. And you can read everybody else's reviews here. So, pretty cool stuff. one person, it was funny, somebody put a review. I just thought it was so weird. Oh yeah, they marked it as 4 stars, saves time, but doesn't work with eBay. It's like, well, it actually does import products from eBay, but um, yeah, and it was, yeah, anyway, so just kind of a weird review to mark it as that. But what you need to do is just add over here, it'll say add or install to Chrome or add to Chrome or something like that. You click the button and it will actually maybe pop up something and you just confirm it and we'll add the extension here. So you'll see a green little icon here. So hopefully you can see that. My screen is not too small. It's a green little icon. It looks like this. And from here, you can always recommend doing this first. Right click, click Options. And if you're not logged in, right now I am logged in, but if I'm not logged in, then you can log in right here. You'll want to go to the login screen and you'll log in with your same credentials that you created earlier. Remember when we were registering for Shopified App, we created our email address and our password. You would log in there and then it would bring up all of your saved stores and your settings. I typically recommend changing settings here at the Chrome extension, especially if you're doing it on the fly, like right now, because sometimes we've tried to work on this to have it sync a little bit better, but sometimes there's like a delay in syncing. But if you do it here, then it's usually, especially if you're changing like your margins, I typically just recommend doing it from here. So, but it has a lot of the same settings. All right, so that's the Chrome extension, and from the Chrome extension it helps to automate the order fulfillment, and it also helps with importing products, so it's a must-have. The other thing is you need to be using Google Chrome. If you don't have Google Chrome, go to google.com, search for download Google. If I can spell it, down. I'll get it here in a second. Download Google Chrome. Here we go. Download Google Chrome. And just go to the official site for it and download it. Super important to do because that's what we use for the Chrome extension. We don't have anything against any other browser. It's just to keep this streamlined and to focus on like one platform, we chose to go with Google Chrome. All right, so you'll want to download that, install it, get it set up, and run everything. Run Shopify App through Google Chrome. Also, Chrome extensions and browser extensions do not work on tablets or mobile devices. So you'll want to do all of your processing, your adding products on something like a desktop or a laptop computer. All right, so that's the Chrome extension. We are cruising along here. So we talked about our settings. We've talked about connecting our store. So we're good now. So the next thing you'll want to do is register for your AliExpress account. Basically, you just go to aliexpress.com. You'll want to, I'm already signed in here. Let me sign out. But you'll want to actually register. Just create an account. Come on, AliExpress. All right, we made it back. So you'll hit the join button right here. Just join free. You'll go through this sign up process. Email, first name, last name, confirm your password, enter the code below just for CAPTCHA. You'll make sure, I've had this happen once before, but make sure you have some way to receive text. That'll be important when you're dealing with AliExpress. They're not going to really call you. If they need to send you something, it will most likely be through like a text message. And you want to do everything you can up front to validate your account. You may even want to reach out to them and say, hey, I would like to validate my account up front. Is there anything that you need to know, have from me? Because this can happen. Like if you start getting a lot of orders, they want to make sure you're legit and you're not just like somebody taking advantage of the system. I don't know what their reasoning is, but they can cancel your orders, and they'll make you like validate your license and send in a bunch of information for them. I would try to reach out to them up front and say, I would like to go ahead and validate my account up front. And so that's something I would at least be proactive about. You can do that, the quicker, the faster, the better, and you won't have to hopefully face it down the road. So you would go through this process. The next thing you want to do is, and I'm not sure exactly where it is, but you want to create your Alipay account. Basically add a credit card and Alipay.com. Let me see. You may can just go to Alipay.com. But if you can do it through AliExpress, that would be cool because hopefully they can connect the two. But you can see this is kind of hard to read. Mine translates for me automatically. There may be I would do it through AliExpress, but you'll basically want to add your payment information so that when your processing order is saved, like your credit card information is saved, and you'll have that. You don't have to enter your credit card information every time. So when you log in, just look for that information there. You could probably even Google how to do it. So, all right, so we've talked about that. Go ahead and add your credit card. Let's talk about product research real quick. And again, I'm going to cover, this is a high-level overview. Some places that you can look are Pinterest. The cool thing about Shopified App is that we've included a Pinterest research tool. But you can get product ideas here. So whatever your niche is, let's just say it is beards. You're selling like beard oil and things related to beards, t-shirts related to beards, whatever it is. So you can type in beards, or you can type in like beard shirts or beard funny to get quotes. Whatever it is you're doing, you can get some ideas here. So this is so let's do, so this is just some nice pictures of beards. So beards funny, let's do beards funny. Let's see if this still works. We have a tool here where you can auto-load pages. So I can do 5 pages and we'll scroll down and I'll auto-load them and then resort them. So let's say resort by repin. So this will supposed to bring the most popular pins up to the top of the page. So you can see it's automatically loading the page for me. So this is actually a really cool tool because by default Pinterest just kind of randomly puts the pins on the page. And we can resort them, and you can see the most popular ones are now at the top: 26,000. 19,000, 17,000. So you can do that. So Pinterest is a good way to do it. Use Pinterest to find ideas. Again, I don't want to spend a lot of time here because many people are familiar with Pinterest. It's just a great way. If you can pop in different ideas, you can type in beard products, beard shirts, beard quotes, beard tools. Type all of that in there to do research, and if something captures your eye, go see if you can find it on AliExpress. That's the basic premise of it. There's nothing magical about it. If something really seems unique, then this is a place that you can use. The other place you can use is actually AliExpress. They have tons of cool things that are ways that you can find new products. You can find a couple different methods to finding products. You can find products by things that are already selling, that are proven to have sold by other people, or you can find things that are just new and interesting. And there may be some other ways as well, but those are just 2 options. So you can do AliExpress collections are really cool. So if I click on this, they're basically creating these really cool collections of products. You can see geek, trendy, lifestyle. They have a collection of USB sticks, flower power, teacup temptation under the sea. There's some type of socks, so you can find some cool socks there. Life hacks, the great outdoors. Modern vintage, perfect closet, cardigans, so tiaras. They have just tons and tons of these collections of products. So this is a good place to even just browse every once in a while to see what's new. So definitely you'll just click in there and they have, like, this one has 20 items, 26 items, etc. You can also just search for things like necklace. If you want to sell a necklace on your store. And then you can you can sort by newest. This is something that you want to do. You can do as well, just to find like things that are just being released. So here's the newest items right here. So these are things that may be new, like this Harry Potter thing. You may want to, you can try it or not, but if you use Harry Potter in your ads, you are at risk. It's kind of trademarked, but tons of people have done it. It's just up to you on your risk tolerance. I don't recommend it. But you can see kind of the, get some ideas. There's a turtle, a key, there's love, this right here, Harry Potter or something, Walking Dead, let's see. So if you can find something that you think you can position really well to sell, then a lot of people have sold these. So these are the newly listed items. But you can see 50 cents, 17 cents, 264. So necklaces are usually cheap, have a pretty decent margin on them. So you can scroll, just spend time researching and scrolling. So the other way is by orders. Orders is always that's kind of to see what's sold in the past. So that's a good way as well. A thing about that, it's really good, but it can also be like really saturated items. Like everybody in the world may have tried to sell this, and if you're advertising something everybody's already trying to sell, then maybe you don't have any advantage anymore because there's so many different options. That's not always the case, but it's something to take into consideration. So you just click sort by orders, and you can see, it would show you how many orders each one of these has. But you can do necklaces, bracelets. There's so many different categories that you can do. You don't have to stick to just necklaces, bracelets, rings, anything like that. There's sunglasses, purses, fishing gear, anything you can think of pretty much is here. You can even see the categories. Look at all of this. Tons and tons. iPhone cases, or phone cases in general. Headphones, home and garden. I mean, there's just so much stuff you can sell. So you can see there's these general categories, and then even within each of those categories, you can get even more specific on your niche. Like instead of typing necklace, maybe you want to type in like cats or whatever your niche is, and try to see if you can pull out some cool products there. All right, the other way is Facebook. So if I go to Facebook, actually, give me a second here. I'm going to go open Facebook over here real quick, and then I'll bring it over. I want to respect the privacy of my friends. So, but yeah, with Facebook, you can do the same thing, and it's basically using their products or their Facebook search tool. And the whole premise is you just you literally can type in keywords in the search tool, and you can get results from Facebook, and it's not hard at all. It's really easy to do. So let me go ahead and get this going here. It's going to ask me to turn off chat, so I'll just go ahead and do that. All right, so now we're at our Facebook page. I can literally just type this in here, and I can start searching. Let's try just pay shipping. So this is just to get some ideas for some products. Just type in just pay shipping. And we are looking for posts. So we can look at top or the latest post from, we don't really want to do posts from that page, but you can. Top public post is kind of what we want to look at. So you can see here, there's a jewelry set. It has 3,500 likes. Maybe I would look for like 30,000 plus likes, thousands of shares, and lots of comments, lots of recent comments. That lets you know that it's selling now. So if you're going with this method, I would definitely look for things that are really, really selling now. So this one is 33,000 over, almost 2,000 comments. You can even click on the comments to see how recent they are. And it looks like it was started listed on October 3rd. So you can see here, I can sort by most recent. And you can see what's the thing here. Why is this free? What's the catch? Yesterday, November 7th. It looks like that may be a positive one. Powerful, good quotes. Looks like it has some different languages here. Ordered to, paid and received an email, so they have some shipping problems, it looks like. So anyway, you can get the general feeling of it, but that's it. You're doing that over and over again. You're just scrolling down. You're trying out different things. Just pay shipping. This is free plus shipping type stuff, but you can also do. You have to kind of get creative, but think like somebody that's advertising. Click. I'm just kind of making this up. Click to purchase. But you can come up with these phrases, put them in here, and just search for them and see what it brings up. And I would scroll through, just keep scrolling, keep scrolling. If you find something, put it on a list, and then go check and see if you can find it in AliExpress. That's the whole strategy here. This is just to generate product ideas. So this is one way to do that. This is kind of just finding things that are already successful on Facebook and kind of just using that. So let's see what we have here. So all of these are like from groups and stuff. So I don't know if there's really anything in this. So I might want to try some different keywords. So yeah, this is really, you can do like 50% off or any words that will elicit that people are going to use in their ads. So that's that method. So I don't want to spend too much time on that. I just want to present you some different options out there. All right, so we talked about that. So once you find products, let's talk about product research. Let's say I wanted to add this here, this necklace. Now I can use the power of Shopified App. Let's say I'm in product research mode and I just want to collect a bunch of different ideas. If I just want to collect ideas, I can literally just go to the page, make sure it fully loads. Like this. And after it loads, Shopify App's going to bring in all the information. I just click on have to be on a product page. This can't be on a search page. I click on it, and I'm in product research mode, so I'm not really that concerned about like all of the information at this point, unless I just want to change it up. I'm really just collecting ideas. So the idea here is just to be fast. So I could go here and I could choose the store I want to save it for, just save for later, and it's done. Now it's inside of Shopify App. So it's pretty cool. And I think we just pushed a change. It looks, yeah, there's something going on here. I think when I added my new store, it messed up my current account. So I've got to apologize for that, but for whatever reason, it's doing something strange. That's what I get for doing a live demo. But yeah, so this actually should bring you to your, and I know the reason is, it's because I'm like logged into 2 accounts at one time. So what I need to do here, I should have known this, I need to log out of this account. And I think that's what happened here too. So I need to log out of that and I need to log back into my account. Because what's happening is my Chrome extension is logged into one account, my Shopify app is logged into another account, my web application. So now, I don't even know if this is good. I might have to add it again. Okay, yeah, it worked. So you can see it actually worked. So that was the issue. So I apologize for that. I wasn't logged in correctly. So, but look at this. This is really cool. Now this product has been saved just like that. So now what I can do, and let me show you a strategy here, especially if you're in product research mode and you're really just trying to go through and collect ideas, and you're trying to do it fast and you don't want to just be worried all this stuff. What I typically like to do is just scroll through. If something catches my eye, let's say for whatever reason this snowflake does, I hold down on a Mac, I hold down the Command key and click it. On a PC, I think it might be the Control key, and you can see it opens in a new tab. It's the same thing as like right-click and then open in a new tab. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Hold down Command. It's going to open it in a new tab. This in a new tab. So things I'm looking for, all these green things right here, this is from Shopified App. So you can see this has 4 diamonds. It has e-packet for the US, and it even shows you the cost. US and Canada. This one doesn't have e-packet. So just a quick thing of vendor ratings. Ribbons are the least. It's like the lowest, and then it goes diamonds and then crowns. So diamonds are better than ribbons. Crowns are more feedback and more than diamonds. Crowns are more than diamonds. So that's kind of the system that it goes in. Typically, you're fine if you have like 3 to 4 diamonds. That's kind of a general consensus. But again, it's individual vendors that you need to really check out. All right, so I've opened these in new tabs. The internet's going a little bit slow, but that's okay. We can just go here, and whenever this loads, okay, it's loaded there. Whenever it's loaded, I can click this. It's going to bring in all of the product information, and I will just go, and I have multiple stores. That's why you may only have one store. I just hit Save for Later, and there it is. It's added to Shopified App. So I can click here. You can see it's going to open it up for me, just like that. Then I can go to the next one and do the same thing. I don't even have to open it up, but I was just doing that to show you that it does indeed work. It was just my mistake earlier. So I can save for later. That's done. I mean, it's like instant almost. You can see it. You can also send it directly to Shopify as well, and that's where you would do that. If you're going to send it directly to Shopify, I recommend just going ahead and editing the title, editing the price, and all of this information, clicking more options, editing the type. Based on the collections, how you set those up, tags, vendor, I typically leave it alone. Just make sure your theme doesn't show the vendor tag, but this is good just to keep track of your AliExpress vendors. These are your variants. I typically don't recommend changing them here. You can, once you add them to Shopify, that is where I would recommend changing the variant names. Like if you wanted to change this to capital T, for now, just leave it like it is, send it to your Shopify store, then change it. It just makes it easier for what's called variant mapping. From here, you can add a custom description if you want to. This is just private notes for you for product notes. You can choose which images that you leave or which ones you want to get rid of. You can even search for more images on the page if you want to see something else that wasn't in this area right here. All right, and that's it. That's how easy it is, and then you can just send it to Shopify. It takes a little bit longer to send to Shopify because of their API. But it's super easy to get going with this. All right, we are cranking along here. I know we have been here, and so you can talk about. So we've talked about adding it to product boards. So, or actually we haven't. So let's go to product boards. So I've added these products here. Now what we have is product boards. So I can actually create different boards. Boards are not related to your Shopify store at all. They're literally just for organization of your product research. You can see I have some for belts. It's just a way to, if I have 5 products that are around the same topic, create a board. It helps you keep your ideas. Or if you're doing research for cats, I've created a cats board here, and I can add all of my products there: electronics, golf, Harry Potter, etc. So yeah, that's what the boards are for. You create a board, and to add the product to the board, just click on Products, All Products. I'm going to go to my Uncommon Now store, and I can do it from here. And the way this works, not connected means I've just saved it to Shopified App. Remember how we hit that Save for Later? That means it's just saved to Shopified App. If it's connected, that means it's added to one of my stores if I have multiple stores. If you only have one store, then connected and your store tab will be the exact same thing. So in this case, I have 3 stores, and then I have a connected and not connected tab. So I'm going to go to the not connected tab, and I'm going to click board, and I'm just going to add this to one of my boards. So let's just say Sea Life is a board name. This is a snowflake, so maybe I want to add a new board called Snowflakes. Just like that, and I'll add it to a board, and then same thing here. I can look for something or add a new board, and then when I go over back to my boards area, if I go to the Sea Life board, You can see there's that product that I just added. So it just is a way where you can keep everything organized. So super cool. All right. So we have covered a lot. Let's see, we're at the home stretch. So this next part, we've kind of already talked about adding it directly from the extension. You can also add it directly from the app as well. If I wanted to add this product right here to the store, I can just click on it and I can hit send to Shopify. Basically get everything you like, how you like it here, and then hit send to Shopify. Remember, leave these alone until you actually get it to the store, your Shopify store, or whatever store you're using, and then edit it there. Just for the sake of consistency, once you've added this to your store, you can edit it on the Shopified App side. But I typically always recommend editing, once you've added it to your store, I typically just recommend editing anything in the future on your Shopify store. It's just a little more reliable, consistent, and I think it's just the better path to go. A few things that you can do here, you can actually edit your images. So we have what's called the simple image editor, the advanced image editor. I'm not going to go into detail on that, but that is there. So that's really cool. You can actually upload your own images. There are some more options here, so take a look at those. You can duplicate this, which is really nice as well if you ever need to duplicate something. Create 2 different versions of a product. Sometimes you have special offers. It's a 1-to-1 ratio when you're connecting products from your Shopify store to Shopified app. So if you have a free plus shipping version of a product, and you also have a retail version of the product, you have 2 products in your Shopify, but you also need to have 2 products in your Shopified app. And you would connect, the free one on Shopified app to the free one on Shopify, and the retail one on Shopified app to the retail one on Shopify. And that's pretty much how all of that works. And the next major thing that I just want to talk about is order fulfillment. Let's click on the orders page here. I don't currently have any orders in here. I think I have some sample orders on the Uncommon Nail store. All my other orders have been placed already. So what happens is once you start getting orders in your Shopify store, they will appear here. You can see it will show the order number. This is your Shopify order number, the date that it was ordered, all the customer information. This is the flag of the country that they're from. You see the actual product here. Product. The order ID. This is a place where when you actually place the order on AliExpress, this is where the order ID is stored. If you have your settings set up, we will automatically add that here. But it's important that you, even if there was some reason that Shopified app was not able to add the order ID here automatically, you want to make sure you manually add it here, because this lets you know that the order has been placed. The second thing it does is it lets Shopified app know that, hey, now the order's been placed, now we can start scanning for the tracking number. So you have something here called not ordered. Once the product has been ordered on AliExpress and the order ID is there, this will change to order placed. This is different because it's not connected. There's another point to bring up. If it is not connected, in other words, if I have this on my Shopify store, somebody orders this on my Shopify store, but I've not added this product to Shopified app and actually connected the two, then it will show up where it's like this. I can't click it. It will also say not tracked. That means that I just need to, the steps are you add the product from AliExpress, save it for later, and then you go in to the connections tab of the product. And we have videos on this in our training section, but this is just a high level where you go to the connections tab and there's a way where you can connect the product that you just saved from AliExpress to the product on your Shopify store. Once you do that, they are connected, and it will actually, so you can see here if I hover over this, down here it shows the link to the product in Shopified app. That means it's connected. And when it's connected, I can actually go through, I can place the order. So just connecting it is not the only thing you need to do. You need to use variant mapping. And what variant mapping is, let me see if I can find one that I can show this on. Let's try this one maybe. No, none of these are really great examples, but I'll just click this to see if it will work. You have what's called the Connections tab. This is what I was talking about earlier. You can see here I can actually, this is the Shopify product that it's connected to. I can actually change that. I can connect it to another product. You can, I can search for the product and find it. I can choose which store it's from, etc. And then this is the original product link. I do recommend having the vendor name, the supplier link, which is automatically added now, but this product was added a while back, so it wasn't there. I can add different suppliers. So if I wanted to add more than one AliExpress supplier and change it up, I can do that here. But variance mapping is important because this says, remember when we talked about earlier, we had something on the one of the products that was a lowercase blue or something like that, or lowercase turtle. I think it said lowercase turtle. But on our Shopify store, we might want it to have an uppercase T. But on AliExpress, they name some things some weird stuff sometimes. It'll have numbers and it's just random. You wouldn't want that to show to your end customer. So you may have a different variant name. You may call it blue with a capital B. They may call it blue 3573. So you'll want to have, we have a way for you to map those. You can say whenever I place whenever my customer orders a blue, then when I place the order, I want it to choose the blue 7532. So we have a place where you can connect those, and that's the variant mapping feature. You can see here, this one's pretty easy because it doesn't have anything, but in order to do this, I could go to change, and it would actually auto pull the information in, and you would literally just select it. This isn't the best example because it doesn't really have anything, but that's there. We actually have a whole video dedicated to this in our support and training area on variant mapping. It's really powerful and really cool, and you can do some even more advanced things. But to keep it simple, you'll just say, here's what it's called in Shopify, here's what they call it in AliExpress, and you can match up the two. But again, this case is not a very good example, so I apologize for that. But we do have some really great training on that. All right, so that's variant mapping. When all of that is taken care of, all you need to do is go through here, and you would place the order. Again, like we talked about, there's 3 order modes, step by step, stops after each step. Auto goes all the way through using any global settings that you have. Auto choose shipping lets you actually choose the shipping ahead of time. This is a really flexible one if you actually want to make some shipping decisions. If you want to preset, if you want to use auto place order and like preset your different shipping options, you will want to look into the video we have on advanced variant mapping, because you can actually preset what shipping options for different countries are. You can use ePacket for the US, you can use China Post for Australia, and so on and so on. You can preset that, and it's really, really powerful. All right, so that's that. All right, so trying to think here. I think we are good to go on that. I would show this, but none of these are actually set up right, but we have videos that show this whole process. I just wanted to give you an overview of what happens. So what happens is once you place this, remember if it's going to take you to the order confirmation screen, I typically recommend just canceling out at the end where you actually says pay now, because what happens is if you can't, you can go ahead and pay, but if you want to batch pay for items, then you'll go ahead and cancel at that point. So I wish I could do that. I'll just try this. I know this probably won't even work. I'll just go and try it anyway just so you can hopefully see. And I'll need to sign in because I'm not signed in. You can see Shopified App is going through. It selected everything for me. I'll just go ahead and sign in here to my account. You definitely need to have an account before you do this. All right, at this point, Shopified App's going through, and it's going to change all of this stuff for me. So watch this. It's going to fill in the right information. Pretty cool. It's going to leave the message for the seller here in just a second. See, Please do not include any pricing. And then we choose other payments, and then we take you to this final payments page right here. So this is important. So we've marked it as ordered, which means we've copied the order number and we've assigned it to the order in Shopify app. And then right now you have the option to either pay now or cancel payment or just close out the tab. So what you want to do here, you can pay now, especially if you just have like, you have your first order coming in. But if you're starting to get a lot of orders coming in, you may want to wait till the end of the day and try to batch pay for everything. You can pay individually, but your credit card or your bank may start declining you if you have like 100 single transactions and they're all for $2.14 from AliExpress. It might just look strange. Some fraud protection or whatever they have, they may cancel them. So we typically recommend either canceling here or just closing out. So if I close out right here, actually you can close out or you can just cancel. If I cancel, I'll show you what's going to happen here. All right, so it goes into a waiting payment mode, which means we've ordered it, we've placed the order, but we haven't paid for it. And until we pay for it, they are not going to process it and ship it out. So at the end of the day, you may have 50 orders here, depending on how many orders that you have come, that have come through your store. So this is how we, this is how you actually bulk or not. It's batch pay. So if you have 50 orders, AliExpress will show 10 orders per page. And then you just hit the select all button and you can pay up for 10 orders per page. If you have more than 10 orders at a time here, then you can use this load more orders button. It will actually tries to put up to 100 orders per page on one page. Then you can just select all and then you just hit pay for selected orders. And then it will put everything onto one single payment. Instead of like 100 payments, you have one single payment, and then you just pay for it all at once, and then it processes everything. So hopefully that makes sense. That's kind of a trick, so you don't have to pay for each thing individually. All right, so after that, we come back over here. You can see the order ID has been added right here. The order has been placed, and then now we can go over to, so what happens now is over the next few days, the supplier after I pay for it anyway, the supplier will release a tracking number. So right now, we have not sent any information to our customer. We're waiting for the tracking number. Once we receive the tracking number, what we can do is mark it as fulfilled in Shopify. And that's just Shopify's terminology for saying this order is shipped out. And they actually send out a shipping confirmation email that includes a button to track their order. We can manage that. We have a tracking page where you can actually manage all of this. You can see here, this is kind of basically in a waiting payment mode. This is the order that's been placed 3 minutes ago. Once it has been fulfilled, or once the tracking number has been found, it will update here. And if you have your settings set up like I showed earlier, where it will auto-fulfill, then on every hour it's going to look for tracking information. If it finds it and it has it, then it will send out an email to the customer and actually mark the orders fulfilled in Shopify. It does that automatically for you. If you have tons of orders coming through, you may want to use the sync with AliExpress. This is a manual sync. And it will, we do this automatically as long as you're logged in to AliExpress. We look in the background for all of your active open orders, and we will try to update the information with your tracking information. But for whatever reason, if you have just tons of orders and it's hard, and maybe you even have multiple AliExpress accounts or whatever, you can actually use this sync with AliExpress. It brings up this thing, and you can start the update, and it will try to update anything that is there. You can see this is the one I just did. It's basically just updated the status to awaiting payment. But if it finds a tracking number, it will go ahead and add it in here. So that's really powerful as well. But remember, even after it finds the tracking number, we have a little, basically like a script that runs every hour at this point. And so give it some time. If it just updated, don't assume that it's not working. like if you placed the order last night, but you left it overnight and you weren't logged in, when you log back in the morning, it'll try to run in the background to find any updates. As soon as it updates, it still needs another hour to process and actually in order to mark it as fulfilled and send it out to the customer. So just kind of know that it's not like an instant thing. Just give it a little bit of time. All right, so that's tracking fulfillment. It's really, really powerful. And you can see how this just saves so much time, and it's almost a necessity. Just imagine having to do this by hand or manually. It gets really cumbersome, and it's a lot to manage. So this actually makes running a business either by yourself or hiring a team members possible. You have sub-users accounts, you have product alerts. Product alerts do not, as of now, update your product pricing for you, which is not a big deal with Shopify app, or actually inventory, rather. It doesn't do either or, but it does alert you. But the reason why that's not super important right now is because it's so easy to switch out suppliers in Shopify app. So if for whatever reason, let's say somebody in your Shopify store, a customer places an order for a product, you go to place the order, you realize the vendor on AliExpress doesn't have that item listed anymore. It's most items on AliExpress can be found by more than one vendor most of the time. It might not be all cases, but it's super easy just to do a quick search, find the next best one, or even a better one than you had before. Copy that link, go to the connections tab like we talked about earlier, add a new supplier, just paste in the information that it's asked for, and then you make that the default supplier, and then you're back in business just like that. So it's not updating your inventory automatically. To me, I would rather keep selling it even if that one supplier went out of stock, because then I could typically just find another supplier. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, we've covered a lot: monitoring orders, placing orders, fulfilling orders. All right, so that is it. We've spent a lot of time. So this is the basic premise of how you set up your store. We covered a lot of information: setting up your store. We talked about how to add logos, how to do product research, how to do all your settings, menus, navigations, registering for Shopified app. It's a pretty good overview. And the goal with this is to equip you, to give you the tools, the knowledge that you need to get started. Now it's up to you to decide whether this is something that you want to pursue and be committed to. And I'm going to tell you, it's compared to other business models, it's relatively easy, but that does not mean that it's like just the easiest thing in the world and you literally find products, put it on your store, send some traffic to it, and you've got sales. There's an art. It's just like with anything. You can't just pick up a guitar and expect to, be just this awesome guitar player in a matter of a week or a couple weeks. Maybe if you have some prior knowledge, prior experience, you can get equipped faster and you could have success faster. But if not, if you're starting from scratch and you don't know, excuse me, if you don't have any prior tools, then you need to do the things, you need to focus on the things that will make you successful, on the tools of this trade. And those things are learning Facebook ads, what makes a good ad, how to write effective copy, how to research proper products. You want to get that match, because the things that really matter are your products. Products are huge. You need to have a product that is compelling. You don't want to sell toilet paper on Facebook. You want to sell something that is unique, that is interesting, that is an impulse buy. After that, you need to learn how to write good ad copy. It's not too hard to do, but you need to invest time into learning how to do those things. You need to. Those are the main skills. The other thing with Facebook ads is you need to learn how to target the correct people. Who's your target market, and how do you find those people? And those are your basic skill sets that you want to devote your time to learning. So hopefully that gives you a good foundation to get started. And I really wanted to do this to provide that foundation for you. So that is the end of training session. So hopefully that gets you up and running. Yeah, so we covered so much stuff. My voice is hoarse. This is, I really don't talk this much typically, usually back behind the computer typing, just because that's the world I live in right now. But yeah, I'm super excited for all of you. Just to give you the upside, there are lots and lots of success stories. There are also lots of stories of people who step their foot in halfway or barely, and obviously if you barely go into something, you're probably not going to get the best results. But there are also stories, I've seen stories of people who have struggled for the first, whatever, month or two, and then it just clicks. It's like, because what you're doing is even though you make mistakes, even though something doesn't work, it's a constant learning process, and it's with anything you do, no matter if it's this business or whatever other business that you pursue. It's a constant learning process. And so for this one person, they tried like 10 different, maybe more than that, like 15 different products, and then one of them clicked, and it was a product thing for them, and then they learn, so much from that. So it's different for everybody. Some people find something that sells really well, but I would focus more on a smaller set of products than trying to add like 500 products to my store. I would go with smaller amount of products for sure. All right. Well, everybody have a great rest of the week. And again, I hope this was very helpful for you. I wish you the best, and just stay persistent and keep doing it. All right. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. It's been a pleasure just to be able to just pour into you and give you an overview of how everything works and just get you up and running. So hopefully this has been beneficial. Thanks so much.